we are living in a world surrounded by so many consumer products across different categories. In fact, the number of categories have drastically increased over the last 3 to 4 years. And we have seen COVID-19 acting as a booster towards increasing these categories and towards creating more and more consumer brands. Today, it has become very easy for anyone to start with their website and onboard to different e-commerce platforms like Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, Meesho, Ajio, and many more platforms coming up. The way today's consumer shop is completely different than what it used to be. Today's consumer searches, discovers, and buy products online. The major driver for this growth has been e-commerce. I was going through this one interesting data of the top 5 categories, and there it was mentioned that beauty and personal care category has grown by 140% in the last 2 years. This was followed by the category of footwear, which has grown by around 68%, and it was followed by eyewear and accessories category, which has been grown by across 66%. You can see this chart of the top 5 categories and their growth numbers. In fact, if you look, these 5 categories have been solely responsible for the growth of entire e-commerce by around 70 to 80%. The way the consumer shops and the way the consumer used to shop, there's a complete difference. Now it is essential for every brand to have an online presence. The way shopping has been done has changed drastically, and this is called digital disruption because there are so many digital avenues for the consumers to go through and accordingly make their purchasing decisions. And e-commerce is the forerunner for this disruption. I think there is enough opportunity for new brands to build their businesses and for existing brands to increase their market share. Now, having a digital presence is no longer a choice. It has become a necessity. As per RedSeer, I was checking these numbers of Indian e-commerce market, which is the fastest and the largest growing market in the world. The size of Indian e-commerce market is approximately $63 billion, which is compared to around $947 billion. But here is the interesting catch. The Indian e-commerce market is expected to grow by 27% in the next 4 years and will reach around $163 billion, while the world market is only expected to grow by 10% to reach around $1,350 billion in the next 4 years. You can see few categories like electronics and appliances shifting their dominance from offline presence to entirely online presence. Today, even if I want to buy an iPhone or any other Android phone, I always first check on Flipkart and Amazon and look for their offers. Similarly, there are many other categories which are growing at a rapid pace. In fact, in most of the categories, 20 to 25% of the sale is going to come through e-commerce in the next 5 or 6 years. In the last 3-4 years, we have seen many digital-first brands evolve. It simply means that you build your entire business digitally, maybe through social media or maybe through e-commerce platforms, maybe through your own website. These digital-first brands are now slowly moving towards offline presence as well. And the internet is helping for their growth because consumer gets all that information online and then goes to a nearby physical store and then decides whether he or she wants to buy that product or not. It has become very important for any brand to build an omnichannel presence. That is how you win the heart of the consumer. You need to be present everywhere, whether it is online or offline, if you dream of building a very big business. Today, although the world is still ruled by the HULs, PNGs or the Maricos, but still there are many new brands coming up who have obtained a good market share. In fact, many of the brands are responsible for creating new categories. In this video also, I wanted to tell you about some of the brands which have made big in their respective categories. Through their digital capabilities and digital strategies, they have created an impact and have changed the way shopping used to happen. Now, if you look at the top 3 categories, as per RedSeer, around 72% of the brands are traditional brands in electronics and appliances categories, while around 48% are traditional brands in fashion and home category, and around 52% are traditional brands in the grocery and personal care category. The rest are the digital first brands, and we can see the number of traditional brands decreasing while the number of digital first brands increasing very fast. Today we can consider electronics and appliances to be a mature e-commerce category because more than 52% of their overall sales happen through online media. Initially there were many brands like JBL, Sony, Panasonic dominating this category, but now we know brands like Boat, Noise and Firebolt, who are now dominating this category. The next category which should become mature in the next 2 to 3 years is beauty and personal care. We can see evolution of many brands like Mamaearth, Bombay Shaving Company, Plum, Minimalist, M Caffeine, and many others who have used channels of Flipkart and Amazon to build a very good business. In this figure, you can see 4 different quadrants: rabbits, tigers, turtles, and elephants. All the different brands are mapped against 2 parameters. One is category dominance, which represents the online market share by the category, and another is online focus, which represents percentage of sales from online channels. If I deep dive into these quadrants, the first one is the tigers, who were the early movers in the e-commerce space and have built their business through e-commerce. They have now a strong physical presence as well, but majority of the business comes from online channels. We all know brands like Boat, Licious, Wakefit, and Mamaearth. The second one is elephants. They are the legacy players. They are the FMCG companies like HUL, ITC, Marico, Nestle, Puma. Their significant share comes from offline. The third quadrant is rabbits. They are the digital first brands. Very good examples are Bombay Shaving Company, McCaffeine, Beardo, Sugar Cosmetics, Noise. They are yet to achieve scale in order to dominate the category. As the e-commerce will grow, so will these brands. The fourth quadrant is of the turtles. They are the legacy brands. They have done well on e-commerce, but e-commerce constitute a very small share of the overall portfolio. They include brands like JBL, Apple, Sony, Panasonic, etc. If you look closely, the first 2 quadrants are the quadrants that are going to now push the offline presence, while the bottom 2 quadrants are the quadrants where brands will push the e-commerce channel. There are 2 very interesting trends that have emerged. The number one is that many commerce players have come up and they are helping small digital brands to scale up their business. We can see platforms like Nykaa, Turtle, Mensa brands. The second interesting trend is that of private labels. We know private labels like Roadster, Flipkart Smart Buy, Amazon Essentials, who have scaled up drastically in the last 5 to 6 years. If you look at electronics and appliances category, many brands like Boat, Noise, Firebolt, Xiaomi, Lifelong, Atomberg have leveraged the channels of e-commerce. If you look at the category of fashion and home, there are brands like Wakefit, Ketch, Clovia, Bewakoof, Rare Rabbit, Fab Alley, who have used their own websites and these e-commerce platforms to build their brands. If you look at the category of grocery and personal care, there is Licious, there is Mamaearth, there is Bombay Shaving Company, Minimalist, Plum, and many other brands which you know of. Before summing up, I wanted to point out some common factors that you can see when you study these brands closely who have made big on the e-commerce portal. The number one is strategic focus. For these brands, e-commerce is not just another channel. It is the channel which they can rely on the future. For this, they have resources and they have investments. They have different strategies. They have different marketing and sales initiatives that they plan in order to grow on this channel. The second is dynamic pricing, which means adjusting pricing, adjusting discounts, depending on the season, depending on the festive activities. We wait for Big Billion Days on Flipkart and the Great Indian Festival on Amazon. That time you can see the minimal prices for every product. That is why huge traffic comes on these platforms during these festivals, and brands are also willing to give heavy discounts. The third factor is analytics and data. Today the role of data has become very critical towards the growth of these brands, according to which they can do the decision making and adapt the strategies. Today the market is changing dynamically, and so the decision making should be. The fourth factor is digital marketing. Now, digital marketing involves a lot of social media marketing. There are different social media channels that you can leverage to grow in the e-commerce space. You can plan different campaigns, different activities during festive seasons. The last factor is diversification. Now you can find a lot of SKUs present online than offline. Customization and personalization are the 2 emerging trends. A lot of brands are offering these 2 things. Now this is only possible because of having an online presence. Hence, these were the common factors which, if you look closely at any digital first brand, you will see all these brands following these common factors. I hope you had some learning from this video. If you found any one takeaway, or if you found anything which is worth your time, I would request you to like this video, put in your comments, maybe subscribe to my channel. I'll try to keep on posting more frequently and keep on sharing my insights, my thoughts on different emerging trends. Today it has become very easy to consume content on any platform. Shows like Shark Tank is the best marketing platform in India for any digital first brand. And a lot of digital first brands can leverage this to build their businesses. I hope you had a great learning experience from this video. I wish you the very best. Keep learning, keep growing. Thank you.